Okay, good. Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Would you say at this time that there's very much mental chatter going on, or it's more quiet in your head?
Quiet.
It's pretty quiet? Okay, good. Would you say at this time that you have very much mental imagery going on, or is the mental screen more in a blank state?
Imagery.
You have images. What sort of images do you have? It's images of your body, or
My body.
the body-related images? Good. That's a very natural reaction, and once again, excellent detection. The sense that we have a body comes about through a combination of actual sensations in the body and then mental pictures of the body. So just let those mental images be there, but in the background, as you focus on the actual sensations. Now, we're working with the secondary physical sensations of your chronic discomfort, chronic pain situation. I have one other question. At this time, are there any emotional sensations associated with this? Any qualities like impatience, fear, teariness, that kind of thing? Or is your emotional body fairly peaceful?
It's fairly peaceful.
Okay, good. If you have a lot of mental talk or emotional sensations reactive to what was going on, which can, of course, happen sometimes, that would be something else we could work with. We could work with your feel, image, talk reactions. But right now it seems like that's not too much in the way, so we're going to just stay with the physicality of the body. Those secondary sensations that I'm having you focus on, do they seem more or less stable, or are they more sort of flowing and like an energy kind of thing? Are they more like solid and particulate like thing? Would you say they're
pretty much solid. I'm aware of them at all times. It just shifts the awareness.
So your awareness shifts, but the sensations themselves don't particularly flow or vibrate as a kind of energy.
No.
Okay, good. It could happen on occasion that they do, and if that does happen, that's something significant that you can focus on. Has that ever happened in working with your body experience, that it became fluid?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about. It's not happening now, and
No.
it doesn't have to happen, but if it does, that's a significant experience that I call flow, and you can go with that if you wish. Okay, I'd like you to bring your attention back to the primary area, the two primary areas where we started. It's possible that those areas are exactly the same as they were before in terms of intensity, solidity, and so forth. It's also possible that there's been a change. They might be more intense, less intense, more solid, less solid, more sort of coagulated or more thinned out. Would you say that the two secondary areas are pretty much the same as when we started, or have they changed in some direction?
Well, they've changed.
Can you describe the nature of the change?
I'm not even aware of them at the moment.
They've sort of vanished?
They vanished.
Remember I mentioned how like detecting and totally opening up to the secondary spread could sometimes dissipate the pressure from the primary? Remember I mentioned that?
Yes.
Well, you just experienced that. It's pretty cool,
Yeah,
isn't it? Has that ever happened to you before like this?
Not like this.
Did you ever work with the secondary sensations in this systematic way previously? Okay. Well, then I would say you learned something pretty significant, and in a relatively short period of time. You can open your eyes if you wish, and just sort of stay with the momentum of that. That was excellent work. Any questions about that experience?
flow. When I said solid,
Uh-huh.
it seemed to me then as soon as I said it, it started to flow around.
Oh, I see. Just thinking in those terms caused a fluidity.
It started moving.
Can you still be aware of it as we're speaking?
Yes, definitely. It's moving all over.
Yeah, so now it's sort of turning into an energy experience.
Yeah.
And even the secondaries are not that uncomfortable.
No.
Yeah. Well, you can remember what we did, remember the strategy, because a lot of it, remember I asked you a lot of questions, and that was in order to pick an optimal strategy to start with. And based on what you told me, seemed to me, okay, we'll go with the secondaries, see what happens. And two of the classic results, the dissipation of pressure from the primary and a sense of fluidity, occurred in a relatively short period of time. So we were lucky, in a sense. It doesn't always quite work that easily. It might take hours or even days sometimes, but we sort of lucked out. But you can remember it, you can replicate this on your own.
Okay.
You remember the sequence
Yes.
that we went through, and you remember the categories, their definitions, and the ways of working with them. Well, that's very cool. Any questions or other things you'd like to comment on?
You got anything more?
The first one's always free. There'll be a charge for the next one.
That was terrific. Thank you.
Okay, well, very good. So there you have, actually, this, I got to be honest, it doesn't always work this easily. But there you have a classic example of how what I call an interactive algorithmic guidance. It's interactive because I took feedback, I asked questions. It's algorithmic because I was following a flow chart. In my own mind, I had a range of strategies that involve looping and branching, and depending on the kinds of answers I would have gotten, we would have gone in very different directions. If he'd had a lot of thoughts and emotions about what was going on, we probably would have started with that, et cetera, et cetera. So this will give you an idea of the approach to mindfulness that I call interactive, algorithmic, personalized coaching. And it's my contention that this way of working is the optimal way both to teach people the skills and also to support them when they have to apply those skills to real-life challenges such as emotions or physical discomfort. So thanks, Rich. That was great.
Thank you.
We got it for the record. You're beaming.
I know.
Excellent.
It's extraordinary.
Very good. Well, we don't call it the miracle of mindfulness for nothing. No. If you look back, you'll see that I didn't have you change anything at all. That's what's so weird about it. All I had you do was be precise, concentrated, and matter of fact. We didn't try to change anything or make anything go away. And yet, because of bringing that threefold skill set to this experience, suddenly there's a reduction of suffering and even a little bit of a pleasant kind of energy associated with it. That's the miracle of mindfulness.